Yo, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Now, this is going to be a different style of video because I need your guys' help in determining what forced induction route we're going to take to reach over 1,000 plus wheel horsepower on a fully built 4.6 liter 2-valve engine. Now, right now, I currently have a 4.6 liter 2-valve being built. This is going to be a fully built engine using trick flow heads, custom grind blower cams, running manly rods and pistons, a forged crank, as well as a return style fuel system using E85. Now, I need to figure out exactly what forced induction route I'm going to take to reach over 1,000 plus wheel horsepower, because the Vortech V1T I-trim supercharger that I have right now is obviously not going to support that horsepower number. Now, I do understand dyno numbers do not mean anything. Dynos can be easily manipulated, and they can also read low or high. And in my personal experience, I have dealt with low as well as high reading dynos. But I think it's good to have a wheel horsepower goal so you can build your setup according to what you actually wanted to perform on the street as well as on the track. Now, if you guys want to stay up to date with the build and understand what I'm doing with my Mustang, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and also turn those post notifications. You guys do not want to miss out on any of my future uploads. Now, we are going to be using Lethal Performance as the website of choice. This is not a sponsored video. The only reason I'm using Lethal Performance is I feel this is the best way to showcase how much the different prices are going to be for each of these methods. And we can also go ahead and build a ProCharger kit on this website that showcases how much things cost and how much things will vary. So let's go ahead and do this. So for the Supercharger kit, we are going to be going with a ProCharger. We're not going to be sticking with Vortech, or at least I don't think I'm going to be sticking with Vortech. Now, with the ProCharger, this is going to be one of those situations where you're going to buy it once, cry once, but you're going to have a brand new setup and know everything that's going on with that setup. Now, obviously, for the vehicle model, we have a Mustang GT, a 2004 Mustang. For the head unit, we're going to go ahead and keep this satin. Personally, I don't really care about any of these polished or black options. I'm not the type of person that pops my hood at meets. I don't pop my hood actually at all. So having a satin finish isn't going to be a big option. So definitely go ahead and just keep it right there. For the intercooler type, we're obviously going to have to put the upgraded sheet metal 3-core. For the gear set type, we're going to keep that straight cut because I honestly like the way the ProChargers do sound. My Vortech V1Ti trim is on the louder side. I personally like the way that sounds, so we're going to go ahead and stick with the straight cut gears. Now for the head unit type, we are going to be going ahead and using the F1A94 ProCharger, which is going to be requiring an 8-rib upgrade. This is going to be a very good ProCharger, and it's going to 110% take me to the power number that I want to be at, and then some. At around 25 PSI, I'd be where I want to be at with the wheel horsepower number. And I know this ProCharger will support that power range in the RPM band that I'm going to be at. Now, my Mustang is going to be cammed, and it's going to be shifting upwards of 7,000 RPM, and that's going to be where this peak power is going to be taking place at. Obviously, the ProCharger, the F1A94 head unit, is making power up to literally 7,800 RPM, even more. But by going ahead and running this ProCharger, we're not going to have any drop in power. The car is literally going to pull and keep pulling all throughout the power band or the RPM band. So definitely go ahead and we're going to select the F1A 8-rib. Now for the drive system type, we're going to have to go ahead and get the 8-rib upgrade because we have an 04 GT, and the setup I'm running right now is actually a 6-rib upgrade. So that would actually have to be upgraded with the YSI ProCharger itself, which is about $1,000 or so. Now, this is what this would cost, about $7,800. Now, this is going to be the rough estimate of how much it would cost. Obviously, you could get a brand new ProCharger for this. You can get a used head unit, but honestly, I haven't seen that many used F1A ProChargers for 99 to 04 Mustangs. And quite honestly, if I'm going to be spending all this money on the motor, I want to go ahead and have a complete brand new ProCharger system. This is what it would technically cost, at least around that, to hit the horsepower number that I want to be at and 100% have room left over. Now, as far as option number 2 goes, I could go ahead and replace the V1 Ti trim supercharger that's already on the car with a V7 YSI trim supercharger. This is going to be Vortech's Big Daddy supercharger system, and you can find these for around $3,700 to $4,000 brand new. Obviously, this price is a little bit more because it is on the official Vortech website, but I wanted to use their website to kind of showcase exactly what we're looking at. This supercharger is very comparable to the F1A94 supercharger. It's going to pretty much produce as much power as I need throughout my entire power band without it falling off on its face. It might make a little bit less boost at the top end as compared to the F1A94, but it is going to cost significantly less. Now, what I would actually have to go ahead and do after upgrading the supercharger, if I were to go this route, is I would need to go ahead and swap out my tile blow-off valve for a max flow race blow-off valve, which you can find those for around $375. I'd also would have to go ahead and get a brand new intercooler from Treadstone with their piping to support, the piping diameters, which would be around, I'd say, $750 as well. So we're looking at a little bit over $5,000 going ahead and buying the supercharger, the blow-off valve, the intercooler, the piping with the pulleys to support what I need to put out, as opposed to the $7,800 that I could just go ahead and get the kit, cry once. I'd have a completely brand new setup with, everything I need that I know for a fact would get me in even further where I want to be at. Now, again, I'd also have to get an Anderson's power pipe with this because I do not currently have that with my supercharger setup. So factor that in, it's around $5,000 for just an upgraded supercharger system to support the power that I want to be at, as opposed to the $7,800 for a completely brand new kit. And honestly, with option number 1, I'd be looking at a completely brand new engine bay. Everything under the engine would be 100% brand new, which honestly isn't a bad idea when you're trying to hit, a high horsepower number. Now for option number 3, we could go with the nitrous route. Now, I could either spray on top of the current supercharger system I have right now. Obviously, spraying it with pulling it all the way down is not going to hit 1,000 wheel horsepower, but it would be cheaper. Or I could get the YSI and kind of spray on top of that, spend, $1,500 on a supercharger kit, still end up saving some money, or I should say $1,500 on a nitrous kit, but we can go over performance again. For the nitrous, we're going to go over down here. Nitrous kit. We go to nitrous kits. We can go with nitrous outlet, nitrous express. It really wouldn't matter, but I want to go with a plate system that's a wet kit. So we're just going to go ahead and look at nitrous outlet. They're a pretty reputable brand. We'd have to go ahead and get, obviously, like a 10-pound bottle would be cool. Ethanol E85. We'd have to go with the purge kit, obviously. So we just go. I'd want to go with the Big Show because that'd be kind of cool. Actually, I'd have to get the bigger 6AN because I'm upgrading my fuel system to return style. And then I'd have to get a fuel pressure gauge, which would have to be with this one. So we're looking at $1,100 for the nitrous kit. And I can go ahead and get that on top of the YSI or the existing Vortech that I have right now. Obviously, nitrous runs out, so over time, be spraying the car. I mean, it would kind of balance it out. And one thing I don't want to be dependent on is nitrous, because I do know if I were to spray the car with nitrous, I would get addicted to it. I would not want to drive the car. Well, you guys know what I mean. I would not want to race the car without the nitrous hit because it would feel crazy. Nitrous mixed with boost, it would be insane. And I think over 6 months to a year, I'd probably end up paying how much I would be paying for the ProCharger setup and make around the same horsepower. So let me know down in the comment section which route would you go. route number one, which honestly, I'm kind of leaning to route number one just because it'd be one of those things where you just buy it once, cry once, and you know what you have, which would be the Procharger setup. Route number two will be just to go ahead and get the YSI head unit and reuse some of the existing components in the car, which honestly wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I could run into some problems down the line. Potentially might need to go ahead and get an 8-rib conversion if that is something I would need. And then number three will be just to either spray on top of the existing setup I have right now or spray with the YSI. Let me know down in the comment section what y'all would do. The price difference would range realistically between, you know, $1,800 to $2,800. So, I mean, that's a lot of money, but at the same time, we're looking at the horsepower gains, that really isn't a lot of money, if you know what I mean. So, like I said, let me know down in the comment section, what would y'all do? If y'all were in my situation, what would you do? Get a brand new kit, cry once, you know, and just roll with it and, you know what I have and know for a fact that I would hit what I want. Go with the YSI, potentially still have some doubts, or just go with the blower setup with the Nitrous and just go crazy. Curious to see what you guys think. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next video.